Imagine that you were living in a war-torn country, surrounded by the sounds of bombings. You would probably want to flee from the danger, right? But let's say that you are locked in a cage, and that the people who are supposed to provide for you have suddenly vanished, leaving you with no care and no food. That is the situation that many zoo animals in these countries are facing right now. In places like Iraq, Yemen, and Gaza, war can have a devastating and often fatal effects on zoo animals that are stuck in their own cages. To illustrate this, I will briefly describe the situations in each of these places that I have just mentioned. For example, in Mosul, Iraq, only two animals have survived the battle to retake the city from ISIS. The zoo is located, unfortunately, at a key strategy point during the conflict. The battle had lasted 3 to 4 months, and the surrounding neighborhood was struggling to feed the animals, and as the fight intensified, it became much more difficult to even go outside without dying. A large majority of that zoo's animals died. The only animals who were able to come out of that battle alive were a bear and a lion. Several monkeys of the zoo had escaped the bombing, and driven by their hunger had even attacked some local children. A month before this, in a zoo in Yemen, 265 animals in the Thai zoo were starving to death, including 28 critically endangered Arabian leopards. Over time, the workers fled the bombings and left the animals behind, and as their food supplies diminished, they became weaker and weaker, both physically and psychologically. One leopard even went so far as to eating its own mate. A rescue organization known as SOS Bear and Zoo Rescue, as well as other individual donors, have been working to get food to them since early 2016. But at the same time, the Yemeni government has been denying proposals to transfer the animals out of that zoo. It has become clear that the government does not care about them, and that they are just being overlooked as just another casualty of war. Fortunately, in Gaza, some animals were able to be rescued and transferred out to sanctuaries outside of Palestine. Despite this, though, despite the tragedy of war, there are a handful of animals that are fortunate enough to escape war. However, it is not uncommon for zoos to kill their own animals. Especially during World War II, zoos poisoned and shot their own animals in order to prevent them from escaping. To summarize, the concept of zoo animals being held as prisoners of war is nothing new. But it is always saddening news to hear about innocent lives being caught in the crossfire of a war that they didn't want to be a part of. Whether it be Iraq, Yemen, or even during the 1940s, zoo animals will always suffer drastic physical and psychological effects that could potentially be fatal for them. This is just another reminder how far the extent of war can reach. Thank you for listening.